Both the Genesis GV60 and the Kia EV6 come from the same parent company, the Hyundai Motor Group. As a result, these sibling rivals share many of the same components, but also have their differences. In this video, I'll perform a side-by-side comparison of the exterior, interior, tech, performance and pricing of these two EVs, and I'll shed more light on the sibling rivalry. The Genesis GV60 is the third installment in the trio of Hyundai Motor Group vehicles based on the eGMP platform. First we saw the Hyundai Ioniq 5, then came the EV6, and now we have the Genesis GV60. Genesis has been the luxury brand in the Hyundai Motor Group stable, while Kia has been the sporty one, with cars like the Stinger. This continues into the EV world too. With that said, the design of the Kia EV6 is driven by Kia's slogan, "Movement that inspires." It's a busy design to give the car a sporty appearance. Overall, it's styled like a low-riding SUV. There's a line that starts at the base of the car and travels into the light cluster in the rear. The roof is designed to be floating, and in the front is a daytime running lamp that Kia calls its version of a digital tiger face. The GV60 takes a more restrained, sophisticated approach to the exterior design. The side profile is short, stocky, and muscular. On the side is a lightning bolt that signifies electricity. In the front, you see the distinctive two-line Genesis headlights and the characteristic grille mounted low. The rear is fairly clean with the two-line LED lights designed into a tapering form. An important distinction between these two is the length. The EV6 is a full 7 inches longer than the GV60. The rest of the dimensions are very close. Both cars offer a range of colors, with the GV60 going into some more unique ones like the Sao Paulo Lime and Atacama Copper. With Genesis being a luxury brand, will the GV60 have a more premium interior than the EV6? Yes, it certainly does. The EV6 has a decent premium interior to begin with. Upholstery choices include fabrics made from recycled PET bottles, vegan leather, and flaxseed oil-tanned leather. In the GV60, you get vegan leather that comes in a range of upscale colors and quilted patterns that recall luxury cars. In both cars, you get the zero-gravity relaxation seats, much like in the Ioniq 5. Both cars also get a curved panel with two 12.3-inch screens, one for the instrument cluster and the other for infotainment. We haven't seen too many details on the infotainment screen of the Genesis, but it looks like it will have a different interface than the Kia. Similarities continue with the center console, which has a floating design in both cars. However, the GV60 has one important feature here that they refer to as a crystal sphere. When the car is turned off, the sphere is illuminated with LED lighting. But when the car is turned on, it rotates over into a gear shifter. There are other subtle touches that put the GV60 into a more luxury class. These include a leather dashboard, textured finishes, and satin finish buttons. Another difference between the two is that for a premium sound system, the EV6 gets a 14-speaker Meridian system, while the GV60 gets a 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen system. Now, when it comes to tech, both these cars have some very advanced features, but the Genesis goes even further with some unique ones. The Hyundai Motor Group has been great about bringing the latest tech to all of the brands in its range. This includes Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. There are commonly found features like highway drive assist, blind spot warnings, and forward collision assist. Across the range, you also get advanced features like the augmented reality head-up display. But Genesis goes further than Kia with some innovative features. The first is facial recognition technology. With the GV60, all you have to do is stand in front of the camera, and it uses facial recognition technology to recognize you and unlock the doors. Similarly, it uses fingerprint technology to authenticate you and allow you to start the car. It also offers digital mirrors to improve the aerodynamics. And then there is wireless charging where you don't need to plug in. Now, when it comes to performance, both these cars share many similar components since they are both based on the eGMP platform. The 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery is available in the GV60 and the EV6. In addition, the EV6 also offers the smaller 58 kilowatt-hour battery. For this comparison, I'll only focus on the 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery since that is common to both. With this battery, in both cars, you get a rear-wheel drive option, an all-wheel drive option, and a performance option. In the EV6, the performance version is known as the GT. For the GV6, we only know the Korean certification range numbers. So, to compare, I also pulled up the Korean certification range numbers for the EV6. The EV6 appears to have a slight range advantage. For motors, the rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive of both cars get almost the same motors. With the Hyundai Motor Group family, Kia has been marketed as the sporty brand, and that is reflected best in the EV6 GT. It gets a motor producing 576 horsepower and 546 pound-feet of torque. On the other hand, the GV60 gets a 430 horsepower motor producing 446 pound-feet of torque. It has a boost function that will push the power to 483 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque, but that still falls short of the EV6's numbers. Consequently, the EV6 can do the 0 to 100 sprint in 3.5 seconds, while the GV60 takes a fraction of a second longer at 4 seconds. Other features such as the 800-volt charging and vehicle-to-load capabilities are in both cars. I expect there to be differences in the ride quality though. The EV6 is tuned towards a firmer, sportier ride, and I expect the GV60 will be tuned towards a more luxury ride. The EV6 suspension is a combination of McPherson strut in the front and a multi-link in the rear. The GV60 gets a slightly more sophisticated suspension. It gets an electronic control suspension which uses information gathered from the front camera and navigation and adjusts the damping force accordingly. Another feature that the Genesis gets that the EV6 doesn't is the drift mode. So through this comparison, we have seen that the GV60 trends towards luxury while the EV6 trends towards sporty. The GV60 also gets a more luxurious interior and newer tech. So will it cost more than the EV6? At this time, we only have pricing for the GV60 in the Korean market. So I'll show you the corresponding prices for the EV6 in the Korean market. For reference, I'll also add straight conversion values for Euro and US dollars. Note that this doesn't mean that's where the cars will be priced in your market, but gives you an understanding of the relative values. You'll note that the GV60 is priced quite a bit higher than the EV6. What we don't have is pricing for the EV6 GT. It'll be interesting to see where that ends up, given that the GT has higher performance specs than the GV60 performance. So, which one would you buy? The Genesis GV60 or the Kia EV6? Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like me to compare the GV60 to another car, let me know the name of that EV too. Please give the video a like, share your comments below, and subscribe to the Driver Download.